Hello there, my name is Luke Dowding and I'm the Executive Director of One Body, One Faith. Our mission is to enable LGBT plus Christians and advocate for change in the church, which is something that I have been passionate about since my graduation from Spurgeon's College in 2011, where I studied and trained for ministerial formation in the Baptist Union of Great Britain. The Baptist Union of Great Britain is not unique in its treatment of LGBTQ plus people, and particularly those who train and study for ordination, which means that I and many others are not able to be accredited Baptist ministers. And instead, we have found ways to pioneer in this space of justice and affirmation for LGBTQ plus inclusion. And amongst many other things, including a fledgling global network, we've been focusing on the work of creating sanctuary alongside partners from other denominations and traditions to focus on the pastoral and very real need of LGBTQ plus people in our churches. It's probably very familiar to you as people who are involved in leadership of churches, regardless of whether that is in a lay or ordained position. This issue and discussion of LGBTQ plus inclusion in our church communities. And in recent years, it has become an even more hot topic issue with the changing of legislation in the UK to enable same-sex marriages, not just civil partnerships. This put many churches felt at least, that they are on the back foot in how to respond to this very quick change in legislation. And as a result, the conversation has rather stalled. It's become stuck on issues of same-sex marriage as opposed to exploring the broader impact of what inclusion and affirmation, or rather when that doesn't happen, on LGBTQ plus people in our churches. More recently, issues around gender identity and trans inclusion have hit the headlines. And it certainly is a broader discourse that we are noticing in wider society with the publication of recent dramas such as It's a Sin on Channel 4. LGBTQ plus identities have long been a discussion point and more often than not a topic of disdain in churches, which has had an impact on the mental health and the well-being of those people. Andrea will talk shortly about what that looks like in terms of both statutory response, but also our response from creating sanctuary. But it's worth considering as leaders in your church spaces, what does it look like to encourage and enable LGBT plus Christians to thrive, to grow, to feel loved and accepted? And instead of our churches being spaces of harm, of danger, of fear, perhaps as a way of enabling our communities to be beacons of hope, to be spaces in which people can be unshackled and remove that sense of shame and guilt that they carry so close to their hearts. Our hope and intent for creating sanctuary is that it is a resource to be used and widely used actively, to be engaged with, and to be a space and a way of tackling these hard-hitting issues. And I'm really happy to be able to now hand over to Andrea, who will talk a little bit more about what that resource is and how you can use it.
Good morning, my name is Andrea King. I was the independent chair of the Creating Sanctuary core group that sat behind the development and design of Creating Sanctuary. Alongside Luke, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to think about Creating Sanctuary and the impact on our LGBTQ plus community, our rainbow communities, mental health and welfare in churches. We really do appreciate the fact that you're prioritising this. I also work for NHS England as Assistant Director for Children's Mental Health across the South East region. And today I'm talking to you in my capacity as a volunteer rather than a professional leader. I've been asked to talk to you specifically about the impact on rainbow community mental health in our current context and climate. I strongly encourage you to have a look at the recent research from UCL and from Young Minds, the collaboration of researchers that have been published by NHS partners, which demonstrate very clearly the impact of poor mental health for our UK society at the moment, but particularly emphasise the poor mental health of our rainbow community. That poor mental health is directly linked to the impact of exclusion, of othering, a sense of just not belonging. If you look a bit deeper and you consider the suicide prevention and postvention analyses that are out there very currently at the moment, you will see the rainbow community specifically highlighted. You will also find a link to church exclusion, church rejection, the challenges that poses. In our design of Creating Sanctuary, we not only partnered with a number of interdenominational faith sector leaders to really craft careful, safer conversations that started to look for the opportunity to include rather than exclude, but also really start to understand the impact of exclusion. Alongside partnering with those leaders, we partnered with statutory partner agencies too. Leaders in mental health, in safeguarding, our leading academics, quality assured Creating Sanctuary as it emerged to ensure that we were maximising opportunities for safer conversations. You'll also notice, if you look at the very detailed facilitator guidance and some of the additional resources in Creating Sanctuary, that the NHS gifted to us a range of additional services, support services, that we could signpost to for the mental health support of our rainbow community. I want to thank you for taking the time to think about this, because it really does matter. We need your help. The impact of church exclusion on our rainbow community is very real. We have gifted freely Creating Sanctuary to the UK and international churches as a way of moving us forward, as a way of providing support and care for the community that really needs us right now. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this, and we wish you well.